Howdy folks, this is Tony here, and on this beautiful cloudy day, I'm going to explain to you why it is that this whole student engagement mentality that they're pushing on teachers and school systems is actually destructive for learning and for society. So when I say student engagement mentality, I'm talking about this idea that seems to be going around among public schools, especially, where at professional development meetings, they'll tell the teachers, hey, if you want to fix behavioral problems in the schools, you've got to make the lesson plan more fun. You've got to stand on your head and juggle torches, do things more interesting. You've got to throw a lot of fun in there because you got to get hip with the new things the kids are doing. Otherwise, it's going to be boring and you're going to lose them and they're going to have behavioral problems. Worse yet, what they'll say is, don't be the sage on the stage. Be the guide on the side. You know, that idea that you're not supposed to be feeding them the information. You're supposed to be making them go find it themselves. Now, that is true to a point. You do want them to become investigative. You want them to be curious. You want them to inquire and develop research skills. But if they don't know how to read, if they don't have basic comprehension, then they need to shut their mouth, sit their butt in that chair, and focus until they can actually comprehend enough to do their own research. But this whole idea that it's on the teacher to make the lesson more fun, how about this? How about it's on the parent to instill in the child the value of being able to read, being able to write, and being able to do math so that you don't get taken in the grocery store with a bad sale? How about parents instill some values in their children? It should not be on the teacher to juggle and stand on their head and do all these tricks to get the students to want to learn. If that student doesn't actually have a desire to learn, I don't care how much Kahoot you play, which I like Kahoot. I think it's a great system. I don't care how much fun you have, how much Kahoot you play, how many times you do the Quizlet Live or whatever little clicker or whatever little tricks that you're doing. If that kid doesn't actually care enough, then they're just going to pay attention to it for a few minutes, and then they're going to disengage, get back on their phone, put their AirPods back in, and do whatever it is they were doing before. At a certain point, we have to stop holding the teacher accountable for the student's lack of a will to learn, and we need to go back to what it used to be, hold the parent and the child accountable. If that student doesn't care and they keep causing a disruption, it's simple. Expel them. Give them a few chances to get it right, and then if they don't, kick them out. It's that simple. Not all this bending over backwards. Come on, Billy, please learn, Billy. Look, I will juggle knives, Billy, please. We should not, as educators, have to beg students to learn. The students are there to learn from the teacher, not the other way around. I'm not saying that teachers know everything, because there are a lot of teachers out there that could learn a thing or two about technology from the students, especially older teachers. But by and large, the student is there to learn skills that are going to help them navigate in today's society. But when you dumb down the education process by lowering the bar so that everybody can trip over it, you're gonna have two major problems. The first major problem is the students are not going to be adequately prepared for the world of work. In the world of work, if you are a lazy goofball and you're always getting off task and you're not focusing, you're not going to succeed and you're probably going to be fired. That's how the real world of work is. And so if we just give these students pass after pass, never hold them accountable, just let them get away with anything, you're going to create students that when they graduate and go into the workforce, they're not going to be prepared, and they're going to fall into poverty and exacerbate a lot of the problems that a quality education is supposed to resolve. Now, that's the first problem. Number two is that when it comes to these students who actually want to learn, the teacher is so busy chasing after and trying to kowtow to the students who don't want to learn that the students who actually do have a lot of ability and actually do have motivation, we end up not spending as much time with them as we should, and they suffer. They don't get the proper education that they deserve for the effort that they're putting in. So how do we resolve this, folks? Start holding kids and parents accountable. And if a kid doesn't want to learn, then they have the right to sit their butt at home or get a GED, but they don't have the right to interrupt the learning process for others. And all this making the teacher jump through so many hoops just to accommodate the student who doesn't care, all that does is punish the teacher by making their job too hard, punishes the good kid for him or her not getting enough time with the teacher, and it distorts the education process from one of learning to one of playing, and that's not how it should be. We need to go back to the old way of holding people accountable.